We explain the diffusion and dissemination of religion in the Delhi Sultanate. Sources say that the invasion by Afghani Turks into northern India had varied results on the already established religions of Buddhism and Hinduism in the regions. The systematic violence of the early sultans, especially Alauddin, killed thousands of Hindus and Buddhists and destroyed their temples. The sources say that the violence is also a major factor in why Buddhism ceased to be a major religion in India to this day. Alauddin is said to have gone against his own Islamic ulema, the scholars who urged him to treat the other faiths with kindness and only impose the traditional Islamic tax on non-believers. But he believed Hindus would never submit and therefore must suffer, as well as Shia Muslims. However, despite the early violence of the sultans against the Hindus, there are many records of later Hindu military service for the Sultanate, especially against the Mongols, and one of Alauddin's most favored wives was a Hindu princess. Islam saw the major difference between themselves and Hinduism as rooted in their own monotheism, with their single religious text of the Quran. Also, Islam believed in the equality of all believers. They considered Hinduism to be a polytheistic faith with many texts who covered their temple walls and representations of gods and goddesses. Hinduism had a caste, and they danced and sang at religious ceremonies. In the later Delhi Sultanate, Muslim scholars began to reassess their idea of the monotheistic nature of Hinduism, seeing it as one god with many forms. Local Hindu rulers known as Rajas were installed to run the districts, and many Hindus began to convert to Islam, but maintained the social structure of the caste. On the other side, many conservative Muslims also began to adopt the caste. Many Hindus accepted the Muslim separation of women, and many Muslims accepted and adopted Hindu food, clothes, music, and dance in religious ceremonies. In this diffusion, the language of Urdu developed as a combination of Persian Arabic and Delhi dialect. Persian art became the medium of Indian artists. One of the reasons Tamerlane would have sacked the Sultanate was he believed the Muslim rulers had become soft on the Hindus. Islam took an extremely strong hold in the regions that would become Pakistan and Kashmir. Meanwhile, in the Punjabi region in the late 1400s, a young leader named Nanak was swimming and fell into a trance that lasted 3 days. When he woke up, he became a religious prophet and took on the title Guru Nanak, and began to spread his new vision that he would call Sikhism, one God, men and women, all races and religions becoming equal. This was a radical philosophy in caste-based India. His followers followed the 10 gurus and put women in leadership roles. With its message of equality, Sikhism spread quickly. They removed all last names that represented the caste system. All Sikh men were to be given the last name of Singh or Lion, and all women would take on the name of Kaur or Princess. Amrit was required to initiation, in that you had to prove trust, sharing, integrity, and spirit. Sikhs would take on a worshipful outer look called the 5 Ks, the Kesh, the Kirpan, the Kara, the Kanga, and the Kachera. This would show their devotion and faith.